All right, welcome everybody. This is Streamweaver. I am live in Elder Scrolls Online again. I am working a little bit with some open broadcaster software today. I think that is going to be really useful for me. And I think that sort of the ability to crossfade and do a little bit more in the stream. I'd love to see that get a little professional, get to actually learn how to do the streaming a little bit better. That's my goal anyway. So yeah, you're going to be my experiment. Sorry about that, everybody, but this is where I'm going to go. With this, I'm still learning the channel. I'm still learning how to stream, so it's going to be a learning curve for me for a while. I appreciate your patience as I do this. I am in Auridon. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm going to get that wrong again. But so I'm back in Elder Scrolls Online. It is nighttime. Nighttime is the right time for harvesting. I'm not going to do anything too complex tonight. I'm mostly looking at grinding up my crafting skills and getting a little bit better at the research that I want to do as part of my crafting. I have three main characters here in Elder Scrolls Online. They are all crafters. I'm splitting those up to spread out some of my skill points. So I am just out sort of getting some more skill points, getting some more harvesting done, and doing what I can in the meantime. For those of you who I'm probably the newest person playing this game. I've returned to Elder Scrolls Online recently after the One Tamriel update and with the upcoming update for the housing stuff. So I'm just getting back into it. It's all new content for me. I'm really enjoying it, but I always craft. I'm obsessively compulsive when it comes to crafting my own gear. I usually prefer if I can, so I'm trying to get over that. But in the meantime, I'm going to do some crafting to get going with that. So as part of this, I've got this skill line set up. I'm looking at this stitching for my clothing. I want to get that up to the third level if I can, because that allows me to research three different lines at once. In Elder Scrolls Online, some of the research, you can get special abilities in your crafting, and you can research sort of things like increased armor value or increased effect value and get procs and so forth for your gear, for your crafting gear. But to do that, you have to sort of destroy and tear apart drops that you might get in the world or other items to research and learn those traits over time. And early on, when you start crafting them, the research is sort of really quick. It can take an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, but the time goes up, not quite exponentially, but some sort of very dramatic curve as you learn more traits for items. So being able to do three at a time is really a big advantage for me. So that's what I'm looking to do. So what am I trying to do today? I've got a lot of quests. I think if you watched my live stream previously, you've seen I've gone about halfway up this Auridon Island, which is one of the early islands. It's I think when before one Tamriel it was slated for something like level 1 to level 15. I'm almost at 20, so obviously I've grinded through that content quite a bit. But the stories are great. I'm not trying to run ahead to the content, but what I am trying to do is collect these sky shards. You'll see them in the game. There's several ways to get skill points. Leveling is one of them. Doing some quests is another one, and the third way is every 3 of these sky shards that you get an additional skill point. So I think I've got 1 of 3 on this current round to go, and I'm trying to just run around, do some crafting, do some harvesting, and then get these sky shards in the meantime. So that's what I'm trying to do. It's not going to be incredibly interesting today, but it is going to be where I'm at. So that's what I'm going to do. So thanks for following me along. I appreciate it. If you've joined the channel for the first time or the 12th time or whatever, you know I'm new. You know I'm just getting to learn all this stuff. So I love to hear your feedback, especially if you are an Elder Scrolls Online player. Go ahead and help this noob out. Give me some advice. Tell me where I should be heading. Tell me what I should and shouldn't be doing. Probably a lot I shouldn't be doing, but I'm going to be doing it anyway. But yeah, I'd love to hear your advice. I'm setting down a waypoint for myself, which doesn't always work. This bug actually annoys me. I'm trying to set so I can head in this general direction remove a destination point, which should appear as a small diamond here It is not, however. That's a little frustrating, but I know I need to head generally northeast of where I am. It's in my radar now. Little lag there. So, ooh, it's some bosses that come in. Sometimes these world events get these bosses that drop in. I'm not going to collect these quests. I'm just going to head towards that sky shard because I don't want to get ahead of myself. I've been questing down. I'm about at the midpoint of the storyline in this zone, which has been enjoyable. It's mostly around sort of political intrigue and invasion. So I am going to not jump ahead on these quests, which I can do thanks to this one-time rail update. Oh, let that go. So I'm going to sneak through this city, get some flax for my clothing crafting. I am going to go ahead and this is a really interesting zone. So they have these sort of dynamic zones. It's really fun, at least from the player's perspective. I haven't done this quest yet, so this town is obviously under siege. They've got some battle going on. What I expect will happen and what happens in the rest of the world. And I've got a pretty good set of stealth here, by the way. What I expect, what's happened to me in the rest of the world so far is that as I quest, as I sort of solve world problems, as I do, we'll get into these towns. I'll see some event going on, like people fighting or angry spirits or anything like that. Once I go through sort of the quest line to help the region, what will happen is that the actual zone will change. So what I expect is when I hit this quest later on, I'm gonna help save this town from the invasion, and then the villagers are going to run around happy. I'm not going to be seeing these invaders. That's what I expect. I don't know if it's going to happen in this case. It has happened in a few other cases in the world. Oh, that's a sinister laugh. That's a sinister laugh. That's cool. And I love that the world sort of transforms. I know on the back end there's some sort of instancing going on. I don't think I see what every other player sees. And actually, I should back up. I don't actually think instancing is going on. I think there's some sort of layered content that I see that other players don't because I'm at certain stages of the quest. I actually don't think the zone is the instance itself, which is good. It doesn't cut you off from other players playing the game, but really, when you think about it, what I see is sort of irrelevant to other players. So we can actually see different things without it impacting our gameplay. And if that's it, anyway, if anybody knows how this content is sliced up, how it is displayed differently to different users, I'm sort of interested in the technology behind it. So I would love to hear what you know about it. I'm guessing it's just sort of equivalent of a graphics layer that only players with certain statuses see and others don't. Other times it probably just sets sort of your aggro faction that once you sort of satisfy certain criteria within the world, those factions may not be aggressive towards you. That's just sort of an easy way to do it. But anyway, it comes off really well in the game. It's one of many really great design aspects. Another quest up here for me to get.
Sorry,
please. Lady. Sorry, I got things to do. I can't help you, man. I can't help you. What am I supposed to do? I'm just a slave to the crafting. So yeah, I'm running by these quests. I'm not trying to get involved and jump ahead of my storyline. But because I'm trying to grind crafting a little bit, it does force me to run around the world in a way that I end up not. I end up looking. It seems odd because I end up running past content that if you were truly an adventurer in the world, you wouldn't do. Little bear over there. I got nice bear models. Most of you know that the Morrowind expansion is coming out for Elder Scrolls Online. It was announced just this last week. I'm really looking forward to it. One of the great features that's coming up in it is the ability to have pets, and they showed a bear pet, so that model made me think of it. You can... I aggroed him. So I'm an archer thief kind of with a dual wield capability as well. And I'm just going to kite this guy. Just for my... Combat is very active. You can sort of dodge these special attacks that you just saw. So sort of a special attack. I think I got myself into a little hole and can't get out. All right, I'm going to have to swim out somehow. And you can dodge special attacks. You can interrupt people with blocks, right? is a right mouse click. I play on PC. You might play on Xbox. You might play on PS4. But it's sort of a right click you can do to block incoming attacks, and if you do both right and left click at the same time, you can sort of push them or shove them, and it interrupts them during some of their other special abilities. How am I supposed to get up there, dude? I don't know what's going on. I get nervous every time I swim out in the ocean because sometimes you hit the boundaries of where you want to go and you start taking damage, and I have died because just once you notice you start taking damage, you don't have a lot of time to turn around and try to get back into a place where you're not taking damage. So that's somewhat frustrating. Oh, awesome. I can get through that little hole. It looks like this sky shard is in this town. I haven't been here before, so this town also looks like it's taken over. It looks like the Covenant, which is another faction. It's sort of typical 3-faction PvP in this game. You have 3 different player factions. Although with the One Tamriel update, you can now play with anybody across faction, which is a great feature. You still, when you get into PvP, you're sort of broken down by faction. Oh, they haven't done it. I haven't done it since the One Tamriel update. So if you're out there doing some sort of PvP, I'd like to actually hear, can you group with other factions in PvP, or is it strictly faction-based PvP? I don't understand why you would be able to group, but if you can, that would be interesting to hear about. Where the hell is this? So usually you see this giant sort of pillar of light going towards the sky. Once you're near a sky shard, that's it on my radar. I don't know where it is. I'm trying to sneak around these Covenant.
No one help me.
Nope. Sorry. No, I won't. I'm not being paid. I'm just here for the material, sir. I can make you a nice shirt later to cover the stab wounds, but probably can't help you. All right. Let me try to find... That's over there. It's probably up on that hill, but I'm probably heading the wrong way. It's probably underneath it. Might even be in a dungeon. Sometimes these sky shards are in what's called a delve, and that's fairly common. Delves are kind of one-person dungeons. They're kind of what is there, a bridge up there? So they're not quite dungeons. They usually have a boss in it. They usually maybe have a quest in it, but they're sort of it's a solo boss. It's what they call a purple boss. It's not very. Oh, I have to get the rest of you guys. Well, all right, sorry. I wanted to let you live. I'm not very good at it. So that little red line and those little red lines coming out of the player, like that. If I get up in time and do a double mouse click, it will there like that. That will block them. It does some damage to them. It interrupts the ability they're trying to trigger. It's a pretty cool aspect of active combat. I just stink at it, right? That's my... I stink at everything, which is why I craft so much. If I block, you take less damage when you block. But yeah, I don't know. I'm always kind of spamming my mouse buttons. It only gets me so far, though. Let's see, are you friendly? Okay, you're friendly. Good. Yeah, but I would love to hear PvP. What your experience with is in PvP. I like PvP. I'm not a huge PvP fan in MMOs. It frustrates me because it seems to be more based on gear grinding than actually playing. So if I play PvP, kind of a PvP centric game, I tend to either like to do the 4x1, the new style of 4x1, like what's it called? That one when you play the serial killer, I forget the name of it. Whatever. So that one, or I play like Battlefield 1. Those are really sort of tend to be more enjoyable for me. And there it is. There's the sky shard. So I'm going to collect this sky shard up. That is going to give me, I think, 2 of 3? 1 of 3? 2 of 3. So I've got one more in the zone, thankfully. It's going to round nicely for me, which is down here. That is in a delve, which is going to be fun. Delves, like I said, are sort of one-man dungeons. So those can be designed real well, and I'm going to head down there and sort of adventure my way through that one to get that quest. So at least there'll be something. Hey, Backstab Kitty, good to see you again. Thanks for showing up. So Backstab Kitty was in my very first voiceover stream, so it's good to see you back again. I am trying something a little different. You would have missed it at the beginning of the stream. I'm trying to do some crossfading and some intro music with a splash graphic. So I'm trying to get a little bit better at these skills. You wouldn't have seen that, but in future streams, I hope to get that down a little bit better so things aren't as clumsy. Right now, I'm just collecting up some sky shards. And I'm doing this delve, trying to get to this delve here. I know that it's in this little pocket that's hard to get to. As a matter of fact, I've tried to swim around this little island, and I died because, I don't know, you hit some deep water, an area where the devs don't want you to go, and you start taking health damage. So I think I have to get down either through this gate or I have to get around this mountain here. So that is what I am going to do right now. I'm trying to get these sky shards so I can build up some of my crafting abilities. That's what I was saying earlier. I'm just trying to get this over on crafting. As I'm sure you know, I'm a clothier. The stitching ability, you can research items. I'm trying to get to the point where I can research 3 at once, just so I can clear up some bank space and I can go ahead and sort of get those abilities more rapidly rather than messing around and sort of being stuck. I know once you get to the later research, if I understand it right, you end up with like 30 days. I'm going to jump off of this just to get out of here. Aha! I made it. So you get like 30 days on research, and that's crazy for me. So if I can get that sort of research now to the point that I can get 3 at once and cut down a little bit on my time, well, that is what I'm going to do. I think I need the skill point, but what I'm probably going to discover is that skill needs to be at, I think, 28. So one thing at a time, right? I'm going to get the skill point to spend on it in the first place, and then I'll worry about sort of getting out and grinding that up. So full disclosure, I'm just messing around with Open Broadcast System today. I was actually just going to go ahead and grab that skill point and do a little just in-game stuff without streaming, but I'm trying to get into the habit of streaming more and talking as I do, because it's a skill like anything else. You got to build it up. I've done a lot. I do for work. I do a lot of online tutorials. I do a lot of videos, so it's not entirely new to me. But I will say and I've used Open Broadcaster System in relation to some videos around Docker that I created. So it's not entirely new to me, but I would not say I have a great skill in using it. Wood up there. So yeah, this is my sort of attempt to gain the skills, learn about sort of crossfading, learn about splash imaging, learn about just the workflows of streaming and going out and doing it. Ultimately, I'm just doing it out of curiosity. I don't really care. I'm not going to monetize. I think I might have applied for the program, but I do not expect to ever get to I'm not attempting to be a famous streamer. I'm not attempting that. I kind of enjoy it. I like reaching out. I like doing social things. So so getting the skills just out of curiosity is something I'm going to enjoy. Backstab Kitties knows how to get to the delve, but it may be a spoiler. So I'm guessing it's related to a quest. And that's okay. Don't tell me. Actually, I'm going to try to get around anyway and see if I can get right. I'm not trying to, mentioned before, I'm not trying to jump ahead, so I'm not going to grab that quest. Where am I? All right, I'm outside this town. No doubt another town in trouble. I'm going to skirt this town, do some more gathering as I go along. Mostly right now I'm going to stop for runes because they're always level appropriate. I've got tons of alchemy. This character, I have a couple of alts. This character is a clothier and an alchemist. So I keep myself in poisons and armor pretty readily, which is pretty good. Seems pretty good for a Nightblade. But I have a sort of a Dragon Knight, which is the again, you can spec these characters any way you like. This character is spec'd as dual wield and bow assassin type. I have a Dragon Knight, which is kind of aiming towards the melee class. They are spec'd two-handed, and I don't know, they're really early, but their crafting is blacksmith and provisioning, which is cooking in this game. The other character I have that I mostly play, I'm trying to level a healer, so ideally what I'm doing here is if I get into groups, I'm going to play my healer just so I can heal them. If I solo like I'm doing now, I'm going to play this Nightblade for the most part. And if I just get bored with all that, I'm going to play that. I'm going to play that Dragon Knight. But mostly I just like the crafting part of it. So yeah, the Dragon Knight is going ahead and doing blacksmithing and provisioning. The healer, which is a Templar, again, they can be caster, they can be DPS, they can be healer. They can be the better healer in the game, but you know, anybody can heal. Their spec for healing, though, I'm holding on to that character for group runs. But their crafting is really going to be enchanting and what else did I do? Oh, woodworking. That's it for the staff. So that's working out pretty well. I've got this character here, Kafka, to about, I think I'm just under 20. Where am I? Yeah, just under 20. And I've got the Argonian healer. They are...
Why do I even waste my time on you? Pathetic.
I don't think I'm where I'm supposed to be. This is a training camp. Yeah, I'm not even close to where I'm supposed to be. I have to get around sort of here. These mountains somewhere. Okay, we'll keep trying that. The Argonian healer, they're a cool class. They're sort of lizard classes. They have very... I don't know, you know, people... I guess what we think of in the U.S. sort of as Native American names, they tend to be phrases. So that one's name is Sings of Happier Times, which is what Argonian names tend to be frequently. I'm probably going to end up running around here and not getting anywhere. Interesting story, reflection of real life, by the way. I have several friends from Nigeria. Nigerians are wonderful people, deep culture, several different types of cultures there. Great country, really, and they have very rich names. They have a tradition of family names, but their names all mean something. And I have a friend whose name is Ademola, and he is that means God can see the future in Yoruba, which is one of the main cultural languages there. And he has several friends with lots of interesting names. There's always some rich history there. And that always reminded me of sort of a tradition of a great tradition of sort of names meaning truly something. All right, I'm kind of completely lost. I'm going to try just a little bit more. If I can't get it, I'm going to go grab a sky shard off a different island. I'm suspecting Backstab Kitty was telling me there's a spoiler to getting in, so I'm expecting that there's a related quest. Which would make sense. That's fine by me. Yeah, but there might be a way in there. And that's fine by me. I just don't know what it is, and I don't want to get ahead of myself with my questing. So I may not
Your
pursue
kind
it.
disgusts me. And what is that smell?
Basic training. That's not quite how it goes. By the way, I was in the Army for 5 years, a long time ago. I'm quite an old man now, but that was a great experience. Nothing like people say it would be. It's nothing like you would expect. It's a wonderful experience. You have the best and the worst times of your life there. But all the yelling, that's what people sort of focus on, the yelling and the pressure. And the truth is, especially in basic training, early on in your training, you get used to that. That, a week or two of people yelling at you, a week or two of doing push-ups or running, and it loses all of its power for you. You're just like, okay, what do you want me to do? Push-ups? You want me to run? Sure, no problem. I've done that. They can push you no matter how good shape you're on. You can be pushed until you get to muscle failure. But once you're actually experiencing muscle failure, there's no amount of yelling in the world is going to make you do push-ups. And very few people, especially in their early 20s or late teens, have ever been killed by doing push-ups. So not exactly a frightening experience. It just comes down to a matter of sort of getting lucky. I've been through some training units too, and all these sort of tough guy training, classes that people. I don't want to get into what they were because it's kind of stupid, and everyone brags about this and that. But I'm not going to get into that. Other than to say, it's harder in ways that you wouldn't anticipate. It's easier in ways that you think would be hard. And everyone's got a story, but most of the time that people put out some statistic for people having small class sizes, like half a class size will leave out of a unit, out of a training unit before it ends. That's often true, but more often than not, that's because they just randomly get injured. They jumped off an obstacle, they landed on a chute, they rolled over on a rock that they didn't see was there, hurt their back. It's never the reason that people sort of try to claim it is. It's almost always out of injury. Sometimes they sort of, isn't what they wanted and they change their mind. Sometimes it happens. That is very uncommon, because by the time you get there, by the time you're standing like in jump school or ranger school or whatever, or your Q course, you're not going. You've been filtered out. They've tested you. You've gone through PT tests. You've gone through a little bit of service time up until then. You've gone through things that give you that make this not an entirely new experience. You have some idea what you're getting involved in. Nobody there who doesn't want to be there is there. Everybody who there wants to be there. So you've got the desire. You're in physical shape enough to do it. You are, and I don't know why I'm talking about this, but you're in physical shape enough to do it. You're certainly motivated enough to do it. That is not going to be a barrier for you. So almost always, the barrier is the most heartbreaking thing of all. It's that you get injured just through no fault of your own, almost ever. Just random, stupid luck, and it could have happened to somebody else. It didn't happen to you. So when you get through that, you think, well, you feel a little guilty. You really feel bad for the people who don't get through it because of that, because they put their heart and their soul into it. They end up not making it, again, through no fault of their own. So there's just, it's just a heartbreaking time. But anyway, I'm always fascinated by depictions of military life in gaming, because they're never done by people who are in the military, and they're or often not anyway, and they're not really reflective of the truth. You can tell when they are put together. So like if you've ever played Arma 3, or you've played, I'm trying to think of another game. America's Army might be another one. The hallmark of knowing that somebody with some sort of military experience, or at least who studied it effectively, has done it, is that most of it is boring and methodical and sort of systematic as heck. It's not exciting. It's not, it's not high. It's not high speed. Those moments come in short bursts, and don't really come predictably either. They just happen out of the blue. They happen quickly. You don't really understand what happened at the time, and that's the whole point of training in the military. You want things to be reflective. You want this is old saying that you train hard, you fight easy. Very true. People, once they get stressed, once they get confused, they always revert to their training. So that's why training is so important. People become automatic. Not that you're a drone. It's just that you're in an unpredictable situation, likely new, when these situations pop up, which is not often, and you don't really have time to think. You just have to do it as quick as you can, as easy as you can, as well pre-thought as you can. I'm not even getting close. I wonder if the South Ruins things bring me in. You know what? I'm going to try that and see if it gets me where I'm going. Yeah. Stereotype is used often, backstab kitty, but there's a fascination with it. Everyone has this sort of romance with being tested. Right? I think that's the fascination of the military or traveling. And I don't know. I mean, I'm proud of my time. I'm proud of what I did, but it's never what people think. And it certainly doesn't, there's a saying, it makes you a man or a woman if you're a woman. But the truth is, in my opinion anyway, you don't have it. Once you had the guts to show up, once you got there, you don't have to prove anything to everybody. You were man enough, you were woman enough to do it. So I don't know. At that point, you don't need to prove anything to anybody. And ironically, I keep talking about this because what the hell, I'm streaming for a while and I got to talk about something. Oh, so that was a spoiler. I have to get through the South Ruins. All right, thanks for letting me find it, Backstab Kitty, on my own. Where's I going with that? So militarily, I forget what I was saying. Sorry. That happens to me sometimes. Anyway, lots of weird stereotypes in games about it. All right, what do we got up here? These This game is just gorgeous, man. I love it. I've got a GeForce. I think it's a 1080 card. I'm able to crank most of the settings all the way up, and yeah, this game is fantastic. I've also got an HTC Vive, and I have not tried this on my Vive yet. I don't know if there's drivers for it. I've got the Vortex driver, set of drivers for it. I don't know if this is compatible with that. I should check it out sometime. Although I'm in no big hurry. Honestly, I don't. Gaming is not is not in a format to be used effectively on VR right now. Probably the killer app for me is Google Earth VR. And I mean, these first-person games or even third-person like this, it's a little rough on the brain and on the inner ear if you do any kind of VR headset. I played Skyrim on the VR headset. I passed the delve all the way up. I played Skyrim on my VR headset, and it wasn't that it wasn't fun. It made me sick. Like 5 minutes of playing, I got motion sick, and I'm not usually someone who gets motion sick, but it was terrible. It was bad. But and here's the worst part of it all. I was having so much fun that I kept playing, and I played for 20 minutes. I think 20 minutes, maybe a half hour. This is the delve here I'm going to go in a second. And I was having so much fun, but I kept getting progressively sicker and sicker and sicker, motion sick from the headset. And I had so much fun. I played until I absolutely physically couldn't take it anymore. And what I did, I had to lay down for the rest of the night because I was so sick. And I had a blast, but it just, they've got to do something about a first or third person perspective. The motion, it really makes you sick. So I would love to see an Elder Scrolls Online be playable in HTC Vive, but I do not hold out hopes for that without some significant format. But it would be cool. I will try. I give you my word. I will try it sometime. I just haven't gotten around to it. I have to do a blog post for work on sort of advanced VR. And we might as well talk about that actually since, all right, sometime. All right, a nice little delve here. Let's see what I got. So there's a boss in here. There's a sky shard that I will get to, and I will take these guys out and get further in. There's the active combat part. Block. You're up. There, I got it that time. Like I said, I'm really bad at that move. I don't know why. You would think double clicking the mouse or doing both keys on the mouse is easy to do, but for some reason I am a klutz and I just don't do this well. The nice part about these delves is, at least for me right now, there's always somebody in here, and I've heard PC is a fairly unpopulated platform as compared to the where am I going? I'll head up that way because why not? Fairly unpopulated platform. Sure, let's group with this guy. Fairly unpopulated platform as compared to the consoles, Xbox and PC and PS4. Both are fairly heavily populated. But for me, at least in these early areas, and because of the One Tamriel update, you have most people are not just stuck in a zone that's level appropriate. They can be anywhere in the world. So these main cities, I end up seeing a lot of players in, which I appreciate. So anytime I head down to these delves, it's nice to have a partner, by the way, when you're doing one of the bosses. Anytime I'm in one of these delves, I end up with players around me, or if there's not somebody at the boss and I don't feel like taking them down alone, I just wait until there's other players around. And that's usually a good tactic, at least for me, to get ahead and not have to worry about players that are not being able to solo items or solo groups. Especially at my level. Mid-level, I hate maxing out characters' gear because you only hold on to it for like you only hold on to it for like a day. So why go to like a lot of trouble to gear up when you're only going to be that level and you can out level your gear in a short period of time? It's a better pursuit when you're sort of at the max level, which here is 50. And but you know, that's something to do. So Backstab Kitty saying one thing in games that bothers her is that when playing a Templar, people expect you to always be a healer, or a tank. When you're a Dragon Knight, people often get angry and you do not have the skill line. Yes, yeah, I hear you on that. Actually, that's another. I would love. I love the group in theory. I lost my dude. I love the group in theory, but I hate this sort of level grind and people wanting you to be. They're basically their companion, their NPC. That's just insulting. It's annoying. That said, though, the game design forces that. It's not entirely their fault. They're trying to play the game that they have, right? So you'll find. By the way, I try not to hate on people. I really don't. I prefer people who just do stuff. I don't like to hate on people a lot. So I try to be understanding. And in those cases, they're playing the game that they're presented with. They're just trying to get through their day. And if the game sort of requires that layout of skills and they sort of have a specific rate group composition, I can't quite fault them for trying to look for a group that works, because they don't want to be your companion either, right? I don't blame that. So I try to be confident enough that I'm not trained. I try to be entertaining enough in a group that people at least like having me around, right? and I certainly try not to be an a-hole at any time with anyone for any reason. So yeah, I really hate that too, because it makes it so hard. I just want to have a good time. That's all I'm really looking at. The game, man. I'm not trying to take it seriously. I don't lose my crap on people. I played in a game called EVE Online for about a decade, quite a while, and ironically, that is a game people just get on each other all the time. I would say griefing is a game feature in that I never did it. That wasn't anything I tried to do, and I say I played for 10 years because I eventually got so fed up with the griefing that I was like, screw this. I deleted my 89 million skill point character with billions of ISK, and to make sure I would never play the game. I was so just annoyed at the monetization of players that I left. But that's why it's ironic. I try not to be an a-hole. I try to be a good person to play with, but I played a lot of games where the game design basically required you to be an a-hole. So I don't know, probably self-abusive or something. I'd love to hear what kind of games you're playing though. So I know obviously you're here, so you're playing Elder Scrolls Online. I'd love to either in the chat right now, Backstab Kitty, or if you're commenting later when this video is posted, I'd love to hear what kind of games you're playing, and I would especially love to hear, do you play games that are you obsessively drawn to games that you're constantly questioning yourself of, why am I playing this game? Which is what I just said about the Elder Scrolls or the EVE Online thing. I played for so long, more than any other game. There's sometimes I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, but I constantly, when you looked at the player base, when I sort of really thought about the gameplay style that the game forces on you, I just was always like, why am I playing this game? Why am I putting so much time into this? And I never honestly came up with a good answer. I think there was some part of me that wanted to find a better way, that wanted to find the group that did, I don't know, the magic kernel of people that were the good people, and we could sort of stand against the bad people who are no fun to play with, and be sort of the exception to the rule. There's probably that fits with my personal history. So I did even play with a group of librarians for a while. I had a very sort of happy, long history. My group is leaving. I don't think I got the boss here, though. I might have and just never even paid attention. I'm going to go back and look for this boss. I'm going to leave this group. I found often that I was playing with people that were like-minded, but they could never stay with the game. So I was in academia for a long time. I worked in a library specifically, which I loved. A library is my world. Unfortunately, libraries is not a great paycheck, although I did okay. I can't complain. I played with a group of librarians who were always talking about sort of online culture. I tried to introduce them to gaming and what sort of this online culture and gaming was all about. But the only game I was playing at the time was EVE Online, so I ended up with these librarians who ended up playing with me. That's librarian with a big L or a little L. And I'll explain what that means in a moment. But they would play with me in this EVE Online, and they had no skill points. I was the only one with skill points. I ended up financing the whole thing. It was probably lock in. Do it right. It was probably my most fun I've had in EVE Online because I just had people to kick around with. But we got routinely slaughtered. We never really had a war deck, which was cool. There was only a few people that played. We were just incompetent, but I had the isks to lose. I could lose tons of money, and it was no problem to me. I played so long, so I really can't complain. But anyway, we played with them. The big L, little L librarian thing. Librarians are a degree program in Master of Library Science, and it's an interesting culture. You know, they're a culture easily threatened, not unjustifiably so, because they're always struggling for sort of acceptance and for people to appreciate what they do in culture. And because of that, they're sort of, especially if they're in a research institution, university research library, they're competing with tenure-track faculty. They're sort of sometimes tenure, so they can be not treated well. And like everybody who's not treated well, they can get very defensive. And so there's this big librarian with a big L, big L librarian with a Master of Library Science degree. Little L is someone in the library world dedicated enough to it that they will accept us as one of their own. So they'll call you a librarian with a little L. I was a librarian with little L. I was in library IT, which I loved, but mindful of my position in that strata. All right, let's see what I have. There's supposed to be a boss here. That looks like where I would put a boss. And I probably killed them, but I was talking too much and didn't hear. Ironically, being a librarian and being in the library world for quite a number of years makes me a better gamer. It makes me a better IT specialist. Yeah, there's the boss. I don't have them yet. Because there's so much about data, so much about end user experiences, so much about sort of understanding architecture of data, performance of crowds in IT structures, which includes games. You know, games are just sort of IT interfaces that are so cool. I got a belt. That are so cool that people just want to click the mouse on them again and again and again and again. So games are the ultimate study in end user design, because there's no reason to use the interface except to play the game. And if the interface is bad or the game is bad, no one is going to play it. So just to me, it's a great sort of Darwinian experience in end user design. So you'll hear me talk if you'll watch the stream for a while. You'll hear me talk all kinds of quite frequently about end user design, about game design choices. As an IT specialist, I'm both fascinated with sort of the coding that goes into creating something, as well as I am interested in the technical skills behind making something great. Oh, black. So that's why I talk often about the active combat here. That's why I talk about the end user impact of one-time real event. I'm just sort of nerd. I don't believe in thinking about things. I believe in overthinking them. Backstab Kitties talking about big fan of Elder Scrolls and Fallout series, modded of course for MMOs. Started with a bit of WoW, got into Rift for a long time, and started an ESO beta. Yeah, Rift, man, that is a great game. It's the best game I never ended up playing. That's I can think of. I played Rift for quite a while. I enjoyed the different soul system. For some reason, I mean, after 3 months or so, I was just done. I didn't think the player community was kind of cool. I did some role playing there, but I don't know. I think the level slice content, which One Time Real here, make sure you get around. That turned me off. I think I was just MMO'd out at that point. So I got a belt, level 19. Perfect, twin sisters, same set. So I even keep my special abilities. If you've if you're new like me to Elder Scrolls Online, you can get sets that are part. This is called the Twin Sisters set. And you get multiple drops that can be part of that set. They give you it's a stamina bonus set, and then the more items you have of that set, the more special abilities you get. And I've got quite a few Twin Sisters items on that gives you stamina. If you have 2 items, it gives you a little extra stamina recovery. If you have 3 items, an additional maximum stamina. 4 is extra critical. And 5 items, when you block, you have 20% chance of causing enemies within 5 meters to bleed, which is a great ability. Yeah, these I haven't been able to do crafting sets yet. I said the whole reason I'm doing this is to sort of get around be able to level up my crafting and do research, multiple research lines at a time. Crafting is very well done in this game as well. Often, if you've played MMOs before, and I know Kitty, I'm just going to call you Kitty. Kitty, you've played WoW and Rift, and as you've seen in that, most of the MMOs, they have a problem with where they're going to place crafting, right, in the world. And this, for crafters, is always a dread when you get into a new MMO. Often, let me figure out how to get out of here, by the way. More often than not, there's a choice that the game develops. Well, it won't be a choice. It would just say too difficult to balance. Where either drops have to be good, and that encourages people to raid, and it encourages people to adventure and get world drops for their gear, or crafting has to be good, in which case it's sort of, and that invalidates all crafting gear, right? Because the best gear is got through raiding, so crafting becomes sort of this poor man's ability to get gear, and crafters feel slighted. That's a design, sometimes a design choice, and sometimes it's just a matter of balancing issue. The other way around can also be true sometimes, so that players can feel stuck. That crafting becomes the best gear in the game. That sort of invalidates raiding. If most of the time you're raiding for gear, especially later on, you have all the money you'd ever want in the game, and raiding is really down to sort of trying to grind for gear. So it invalidates the raiding, and that becomes sort of that's a ping pong that often is played in a lot of these game design issues. Elder Scrolls Online actually seems to have done a better deal with that. I'm trying to I'd love to hear your thoughts on why a block, but it seems to me, at least early on, and again, I'm early on to the game, so maybe I'm not sort of realizing what the true factors of the later game are. But it seems that most of the world drops are craftable sets too. There's not a huge difference between craftable sets and between drop sets, and there's a nice synergy between them. Since you can craft, you can go either route. You can choose to take the adventuring route, you can questing route, or raiding route. You can choose to take the crafting route. They seem to be about equal in terms of complexity. There's some synergy between them because there's different crafting styles. Everybody loves her character to look cool, so you get these crafting styles only by adventuring, although you might be able to get the kind of gear. To craft gear sets in Elder Scrolls Online, you have to get down into often a delve or a dungeon or something like that, or a special location. So I don't know. I'm still trying to land on it, but they've balanced better than any game, any MMO I've seen. The balance between crafted gear and the quality that you get there, and drop gear that you can have to kind of grind for in the world. Also, a little bit of a grind. I say that fully conscious that I'm grinding up now to get my third crafting research skill point, or crafting research line, getting a skill point for that, which I've just done. And if I look, I expect to have to grind clothing even more. Yeah, so I have to get to rank 28 clothing, which I'm not going to do today, but I'll work on it in game somewhere just to spend that skill point. What I'm probably going to do is get down look at the guild traders that are out there in the world, try to buy really low cost, high end gear so I can disassemble that. And what I need to look for is see if there's a shrine in here so I can quickly travel to this from now on. Although no, I know how to get here. Yeah, I can get here just by traveling through this sort of tunnel through here. I can travel to this shrine. So I'm going to head south and head out. What was I saying? So yeah, I'm going to buy on the Guild Trader. I'm going to buy high-end gear that I can just disassemble. That's the best way to level up your crafting skill. And then I might hit up. So I'm gonna guild. Still not sure about these guys yet. They seem pretty cool. All of them actually seem really cool. But they're in a big growth sprint. They're a new group. They don't have their chat channels nailed down yet. But they're real helpful. Really, really great bunch of people. Mixed group too. I don't like bro dudes very much, so they're not a set of bro dudes. They're really a good set of folks so far, and I'm going to see maybe if some of them would take pity on a new player and craft me a bunch of high end gear to send to me. Unfortunately, with negotiations like that, it's rough because I don't have anything to offer them except my moral support and attend groups with them, which I would do anyway, even if they didn't craft gear for me. So yeah, I feel guilty because I don't have anything in particular to offer them. Kitty was saying their stamina characters use crafted Hunting's Rage and Night Silence gears. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in Night Silence set, which I have a plug-in on my I have an add-on on PC on Elder Scrolls Online. You can have these add-ons. So I know the Night Silence is already crafted right there. It does movement and sneak speed. Ignore the movement penalty of sneak. Give you max stamina. So I'm actually really looking forward to that. I only have 2 traits research, which is enough to craft a set. But again, I mean I'm so low level. I out level my gear very quickly. I don't know how worried I am about sets right now, but certainly when I get into level 25, level 30, once my leveling rate starts to slow down a little bit, I'm definitely going to take a greater interest in getting sets. And Night Silence is one of them. The Hunting's Rage, I'm actually not familiar with that set. I wonder what that does for you. Is that a sort of I'm guessing by the name it's some sort of crit bonus set, but love to hear, Kitty, what does that set do for you? Why do you like it? And actually, I don't know what either one of them look like, so I'll take the vanity route and ask which do you prefer in terms of looks, because I love to get sort of sets that look great, although I'm sort of terrible looking gear right now. Kitty's also saying never been one to grind for gear in the end games, and I like the attitude of people in WoW where they had to say your gear scores and achievements before a group would let you in. Boy, you're talking my language there. Yeah, I don't know how many groups have just they're just jerks. So let me inspect your gear. Let me see your character and let me tell you what I think of you. And I get it. I get why they're doing that because they don't want to die in the dungeon. I also get why they're kind of short with people because, they probably get a ton of you're doing a pickup group. You get a ton of people who just, hey man, can I join your group? And they totally screw you over, get everybody killed, and then quit the group, right? So they just don't have a lot of time to troll through all the people who might reply, and they're just trying to get out into the dungeon. They've probably been doing the setup for 45 minutes. So I get on a human level why they're like that. On the other hand, that's never an excuse, right? There's no excuse for just being an a-hole. You might have had a bad day. If you have a bad day, just go do something else. There's no excuse. That's always on you if you act like an a-hole. While I understand why it happens, it's not an excuse for why it happens. So I totally get what you're saying. That is something I really don't like about it either. I'm putting one of the other great things, by the way. So what am I doing here? I'm putting all the items I just got out of that run into my bank. One of the great pieces of the Elder Scrolls Online, ESO Plus program, which is a subscription. I do the subscription. Is that you have a craft bag. You also get the shared bank. I think the ESO is actually available for everybody, not just as subscribers. But anyway, you get a shared bank. And you can access it from the crafting station. So getting all your drops for the day, go ahead, stick that in your bank. So any of your crafters can just sort of disassemble, and you don't sticking them on the bank. You don't have to filter through and figure out which ones you can use now and which ones you can't. You can just put them in the bank and worry about that at the crafting table, which is what I do. I just worry about it there. I haven't opened my cloth yet. My daily. You can do daily crafting quests. So I just got a shipment of jute and a hide helmet. Do daily crafting quests that give you crafting quest at your level, a little bit of crafting experience. That said, I don't know why I'm doing it. It's a super slow. I'm actually you get a little bit of reward for it. I don't know. I'm still on the fence into whether I think that's sort of advisable or not. So full disclosure, I'm probably going to do this stream for just a little bit longer. Maybe do some crafting here and then drop out. Maybe about another 15 minutes or so. And then call it quits for the day. I'm still working out my streaming schedule. I do intend to do streaming regularly. I mentioned that before. I still intend to do that. Having a real life, I travel a lot for my work. That's going to be occasionally a challenge, but I'm going to try to keep up with it as best I can. So what I'm going to do is work it out this week, what my normal schedule will be. I'm going to guess it's something like 7 to 8, 7 to 9. A couple of nights a week, but we'll get there. I'll figure out what the comfortable schedule is for me. Whatever I do commit to, I want to be able to do. And so that's really kind of the regular, sort of the consistency of it is the most important part to me, at least early on. I used to do a podcast. If anyone's ever played Age of Conan, I got research open. Another plugin, I highly recommend it. It's a Straight Buddy plugin. It lets you know which of your characters have upcoming research open. I have about 2 hours left on my my other 2 alts, or my 1 alt and a full day left on the 3rd. So this is why I'm trying to get up to 3, by the way. The tail for these crafting times get very long, and I'm only a few into it. I'm already at sort of a day and a half or 2 days on some of them. And so I'm trying to get 3 concurrent research lines going at once so I can cut down on how long it's going to take me to get through these lines. And as you can see, there's quite a few that are sort of open for me. I've also learned I can look on these grids. Nice tip, something I didn't learn until later on. I'm a clothier, so you get these grids, and having the researched a line when you do these crafting sets, you have to have a certain number of them researched to have the items in. And Kitty was saying the Hunter's Rage is a 5 trait set, pretty high in crafting skill. Aspen Grip is also nice for a starting zone. I don't know what that is, but I'll look it up. But the sort of the how many you have in a certain line will let you open up sets to be able to craft them. So that's sort of the what I'm shooting for is a whole line. I don't want to spread these out all over the place and then be stuck unable to craft a line and having to do like a 30-day, which is what I hear some of them get up to after a while. So what I'm looking for on medium armor, since that's really what I wear, well fitted. If I can do well fitted for bracers, I got nothing on bracers, unfortunately. If I can do, what else is a pretty well researched line? Prosperous is okay, but I don't know if I actually care about that, to be honest. Let me see. What the hell? Prosperous is so filled out. Sturdy is another good one, actually. Reduced block cost. Yeah, so actually that might be good for me because blocking is stamina based, and I'm a stamina based character. So the more I have in that route, this will take me a day and 14 hours. I'll research that. And what else? So I have boots. No sturdy on boots. Let's see if I have sturdy on helmet. No opportunity for sturdy on helmet. And belt is the last one. Aha! Sturdy on belt. So that'll give me these 2 lines. I'll almost have the sturdy line completely filled out. That makes me feel good. What else? I forgot where I was in the researching with the other characters. Where are we? Right there. So yeah, I've got all 3 people researching all at once. I need to check in in maybe 2 hours to find out what Moonshi's doing. You might notice I named them after my cats. Moonshi's after my little girl that died last year, so I miss her very much. So Kitty's saying a lot of people are not tolerant anymore. When a tank is starting, give them time to get the mechanics instead of insulting them all the time. Same with healers. Sometimes people forget they have to play as a group when doing group content. That is absolutely right, Kitty. I think I chalk it up to people being sort of young or immature a lot of times in games. You have to realize, especially in a social game like an MMO, the truth is you are raising the next generation of players. You're raising you're training and raising the players that are going to help you. I'm going to a guild trader, by the way. The players are going to help you figure out how to keep playing this game in a sensible way. So you have a role. No one is responsible for anybody else, but you have a role in how those other players develop, and what kind of filter you're using to bring players into your guild and into your group. So what you put out there in the world is going to come back to you. And if you're putting out there that you're an a-hole, if you're putting out there that you're an obnoxious person to hang around, you're going to attract obnoxious people. So sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy, and why I try to really avoid guilds, avoid groups that have that. I have no compunction. I'd rather drop a group early if it's a bad fit, because that's better for everybody, rather than sort of get what a lot of people do is they get upset back and they argue back. To me, by the time you're arguing in a game, I think you've probably already lost. It's already sort of done. You probably need to get out of that group. I mean, if you know them and things go on for a while, certainly by all means stay with them. But yeah, I wouldn't hang around for too long. All right, so what I'm doing here, I am looking for items that are higher level than me, and to give me the best boost for when I deconstruct them. I am also looking for items with this little icon. This is an add-on I add, which some items have a bonus that when they're deconstructed, this one you can see it does 280% of the gain that you get from deconstructing material. So those are great things to get to grind deconstruction with. You buy them, they go to your mail, and you can put them into your inventory. I've mentioned before, and it's well known in Elder Scrolls Online, there is no world market. So there is no central world auction house. It is all based on guilds. So guilds get these. They get to a certain point. I guess they spend money. I don't know. I haven't seen this. So if you've seen it or you run one, I would love to hear your experiences about this. But I guess, and then they buy some sort of vendor, and they have a guild market that the guildies can sell on, and other people in the world can buy on. And there's a few in each city. So I'm guessing they compete for the slots to buy in these cities, which sounds really cool. It's a mechanic I haven't seen, but it sounds like it was really well implemented, really well thought out. So that is that's what I'm buying here. The other thing I'm looking for, so this is Champion 150. It's 50th level gear. It is green. So these white items, they're not special. They don't have a special ability. You get less deconstruction experience for them. So I'm going to buy green or blue. That's very reasonably priced and very high level, or anything with that little green deconstruct icon. 150 is actually pretty good too. I'm going to grab that. I got 37,000. I don't want to go crazy here. I'm really not looking for much above 150, so I think I'm actually going to stick with a lot of this. So I'm looking for champion gear under 150. By that's green or blue, and that's another good one right there. And I'm looking for or stuff with that little enhanced deconstruct thing. So that's about all I've got. I'm going to stick to my under 150. All right, I'll buy this one at 150. I'm doing the thing I just said I wouldn't do. Since I'm a clothier, I can do light armor or I can do medium armor. I am going to go ahead and try to look for more items that are in the medium armor now. I just went through light armor, found nothing more. I've got everything I could get. If I found something that was like deconstruct and purple, I'd probably buy that. But 250 and champion gear. Actually, I want to do that just to see what that does for me. All right. So that's pretty much that. I could jump around between towns, go to different vendors because they're going to have different items on them based on the guild that is selling them. That might be a little bit beyond my interest right now, at least on the live stream, because I think I'm about talked out. I've been doing this. I don't know how long I've been doing it. I intended to jump on for a half hour. That did not work out as planned. I enjoy this, so I really appreciate folks who have dropped by in the channel. I really appreciate Kitty. It was great to see you again. I hope to see you again soon. For other people who are dropping by, first time in the channel, great to see you. Please leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you think of the streaming. I'm trying to get better at this, so constructive comments, that would be great. Anything really about There's sort of, you don't like the tone of my voice. I don't know what I can do about that, but I can try to keep it from getting too manic, or if it's the pace is good, the topics are good, things you'd like to hear more about, things like to hear less about. I'd love to hear what you think and what you would love to see this stream become. I'm getting my own point of view by default is going to be here, so I'm not worried about that. Don't worry, I'm going to do what I think is the right thing to do. But having an idea what you're enjoying, what you're not enjoying, I think that would be fantastic. So yeah, just go ahead and leave it in the comments. Like this video if you think it was worthwhile liking. If you're looking it over on the YouTube side, go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. If you ever want a grouping game, let me know. We might run groups after a while if we get a number of people watching the stream, if we get a number of people going who enjoy getting together. No a-hole policy is going to be in place no matter what I do, so would love to hook up with you in the game, but I will just ask everybody, you got to be good to group with, dude or lady or whoever it is, and that's the one requirement I'm going to have. No play style is required, no gear is required. I will say this on gear. One bit about gear that I wonder, and I'd love to hear, I haven't seen this yet, so I'd love to hear your experience. I do notice there's an equipment bonus number of stars. I'm guessing that is the equivalent of gear ranking from World of Warcraft, but I haven't really grouped enough for people, and no one's frowned at me for it yet, so it's probably because of my level. So yeah, if that's a factor in Elder Scrolls Online, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If it's not, I maybe let me know why they even bother to have that, is just to tell you how well you're doing. That could be interesting, but less useful. But yeah, I'd love to hear about it, hear what anybody's experience with it, or whether they think it's a good feature or not. All right, I am going to wrap this up here. Thank you so much for watching. It's great to have you in the channel. Leave a comment, leave a like, whatever you want to do. Reach out in whatever way you think is good. Follow me on Twitter. It's Streamweaver. I mostly post tech stuff there, but go ahead and send a like, send a communication, put up a flag. I will respond as best I can. Thank you for driving by, and we will see you people soon.